And that was our koozie commercial. And Roger Tiny Kohrs has joined me. Mr. Roger Tiny Kohrs, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, good. You don't appear as grumpy as you do when we play.
I'm even grumpier.
Well, as
I just want to say right off the bat, I played a gig at Ron's Chicken Roost.
Chicken Roost. That's the first place we played. That's it.
One of the first ones, yeah.
I think it was the first. We never played anything together. I don't think. Yeah, that was a funny thing. We had Brother Wayne there on the congas, and you and I believe that was the first time, Roger. We did not ever play together. So there you go. That's
nothing like a Yardbird Shack, you know.
And I'm telling you what. So for those of you who do not know, Roger Tiny Kohrs is the official bass player of the Bootleggers. And of course, we have got Steve Schmidt as well. But Roger has been playing the bass. How long now? What's it been?
I think I really seriously started playing bass probably around when I was 18.
Okay. So,
and I'm not going to tell you how old I am.
I already know how old you are. I've counted the rings.
Yeah.
I counted the rings. So I think you're 42. I think
yeah. Unfortunately.
And when you watch this on when we put the video up, he's all bootlegged out. He's got his Bootleggers t-shirt on. He's got a Bootleggers hat on. And,
yeah.
I believe he's got probably some booze next to him.
It's my bootlegger ensemble.
Oh my God. So Roger Tiny Kohrs, I'm going to say a couple things here, was definitely sent by God to the Bootleggers. Met him one night. You were playing with
Heather.
You were playing with Heather Rausch, right?
Right.
Yes, very talented. Roger is the bass player for Heather. And something told me while I was sitting there, he was playing upright bass, electric upright bass. And something told me to give you a card. And I want to kind of focus on your career, though, and then we'll go back to this. But for those who don't know, you really truly are a legendary bass player. Do you feel that?
What?
You are.
I don't know about that, but I've been playing a long time, if that helps.
Well, I want to explain that. And I've told you this story. When I sent Mooch Jones the track to play for us in North Carolina, and he recognized your bass without even knowing you were on the track and said, "Is that Roger Tiny Kohrs?" That speaks volumes to me. And I think you should be pretty daggone proud of that.
No, God bless Mooch. Yeah, he's a nice guy. I don't know.
I just think that was the craziest thing I've ever had happen, that somebody could just say that was Roger Tiny Kohrs. But you've been playing. What was your first gig?
My first gig was with my dad. My dad was a jazz guitarist, and I guess when I was, I don't know, I'm guessing I can't really remember how old I was. Maybe between 8 and 11. He taught me a couple melodies on a guitar, and he would take me to church socials and set me up on a piano, and I'd play the melody to Strangers on the Shore or Days of Wine and Roses, and he would play the, big jazz chords behind me. But I didn't really know what I was doing. I was, it was almost like a trained monkey act, But that's probably the first gig I ever did,
Yeah.
In front of people.
Did you play with your father a lot? And that probably didn't sound right.
Yeah, I used to, when I started playing bass, he had played he worked for Western Electric as a department chief, but he came from New York and was a musician. And as long as I remember, when I was a kid, he played every weekend, went out and played country clubs or restaurants or hotel gigs. Back in those days, there was a lot of hotel gigs, you know, and restaurant gigs. So I would probably when I was in my late teens go and play some of these country club gigs with him on bass, you know. And I was terrible. I didn't know what I was doing, but it was a good experience, you know. And he helped me out a lot, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Now, it's really cool that you had that opportunity. Now, when I was a kid, my family, we had like a little family band. You know, my dad, I think we've talked about, my father was on Midwestern Hayride, and
Yeah.
you know, my aunt, and all that. And but we played. We had this little family band, and my dad would drag us to nursing homes and stuff like that to play.
Yeah.
But I was little. I was playing bongos. I was, you know, 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I never had, as I grew up, my father got out of music, and I played with my uncles a lot when I was 11, you know, playing jazz and stuff on the drums. I never had a chance to share stage with my father, and that's so you got a really cool memory there.
Yeah, in later years, and that was a whole different ball game too, because back in those days, in the 40s and the 50s, you know, the kind of stuff that he played in his little combos was which we called them back then. And his combos usually were upright bass, guitar, accordion, a jazz accordion player, and never drums that I remember. And they played the pop standards of the day, you know, which was like a lot of movie themes, like Moon River, Days of Wine and Roses, Laura's theme. That was a song of the day. And then later, rock in the early 60s, late 50s, when rock and roll came in, you know, those guys hated it. They hated rock and roll. My dad was not a fan of that because, you know, they wanted to play jazz, and they were getting knocked out of work. And so there was a little bit of a conflict between me and him because I was a young kid, and that's what I was drawn to, was rock and roll.
Right.
I remember going to those country club gigs, and, you know, when somebody wanted him to play Proud Mary or Joy to the World, they would just, you know, cringe. And then they'd throw in all these jazz changes, and I would go, that ain't how the song goes, you know. But
it's like you sent me Pat Boone singing what was that?
Bebop Loo-Wop. Yeah.
He was Pat Boone. Yeah.
But in later years, he would come when I was in bands. He would come and sit in with the band and play guitar. And he didn't know the songs, but he could play anything. He could sit in and play anything, you know.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah, I got to be on stage with him pretty much. Not enough, but enough.
Yeah. Well, those got to be great memories, and certainly that's where you know, that starting to be able to, because you can just jump in anywhere. I tell everybody, it doesn't matter what the song is. If I'm playing a different song, you know, in a different key, you just jump in, you just play. That's the beautiful part.
Yeah.
You know, and that's an art, you know, for your ears.
Yeah, it's a playing by ear is the most advantageous thing, I think, as a musician you could do. I mean, I appreciate people that read. I can read a little bit, but then, like Jocko said, you know, you either read or you don't. But I can read, but I never have been except for a couple times, been in a situation where I had to. It's always learning stuff by ear and training your ear that way. So.
Well, going back to, you know, the first night that we played, I brought my book. I think I may have sent you a list of songs, you know, like, what kind of songs do you play, Paul? And it was just magical to me, the way you just lean back and listen. And then I watched, you know, your volume comes up a little bit more and a little bit more, and then boom, you're playing the song.
Yeah, well, yeah, you capo guitar players, you go, I'm playing a G chord. Well, no, you're not.
Well,
but yeah, you know, it's all about listening. You know that you do the same thing. So,
well, I can do it. I just have no clue that I'm doing it. And I think
you don't have to really know the terminology and stuff. As long as you hear it and can play it, that's the only thing that's good about having some knowledge of stuff, is just for communication's sake. You know, it's like a language that you can speak to other musicians, but at the same time, you can communicate it through your playing. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. It definitely is a lot of fun. It makes it fun, and I mean, we're very blessed. I mean, you know, the people, you know, like Danny Kaiser. You know, Danny's just jumped in there. He's playing
yeah,
electric guitar, and he just jumps in. And then, of course, you, and whether it's you and Larry or you and Wayne, you know, Wayne on drums or Larry on drums, you just, I think we got a good group, a good core group of people.
yeah. I mean, we've always seemed like it's been easy to play together with whoever's been in the situation. So
Yeah,
that's a big thing right there.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. And I think that I was talking to somebody the other night after we got done playing. We played a private party at out at Great Wolf Lodge. And I was talking to somebody, and they said it just looked like you guys were just having a blast. And I'm like, well, you know, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I'm glad they did.
yeah, yeah. It was fun. It was
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
And you just, you know, like I said, you knew, you just did it without any material in front of you. That was cool, you know.
yeah, yeah. Well, I've been
So,
trying, man. It's
yeah,
so funny. You know, I think I told you I've been playing those songs forever.
yeah,
And I guess somehow, somewhat, well, when I used to play those songs, I was the drummer. So I was I didn't need to know any chords. I didn't need to
right,
know anything.
right.
And so I'm trying to wean myself off of that as best as I can. But
And you're doing great.
man,
That's a big thing to me, you know.
yeah, yeah. Well, I
It
know you,
always amazes me that people, like you said, have been playing songs for years and years and years, and they still have to look at something, you know. If you took it away from them, they could do it. They just,
yeah,
it's a crutch, you
yeah,
know. It's a comfort zone, I think, and
yeah.
I understand it, but you know, be good to get away from as much as you can too.
Yeah, well, I'll get there eventually, you know, and if in the meantime, I know that I can just stop strumming my guitar and pretend like I know the words and make them up as I go along.
Yeah, and you're good at that.
Yeah, I don't care. or pretend I'm singing in
That's
a
why you're
different
having a good
language.
time.
Or pretend I'm singing a song in a different language and just
Yeah,
pray to God when I say here's the French version, there's not somebody who speaks French there because I don't either.
yeah.
Talking to Roger Tiny Kohrs, it's 9:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on 12/14. It is hump day, and it's man, we're already halfway through this month and just about out of this year. So we how many tracks have you done now with us? How many have you done?
I haven't counted them, but quite a few.
Yeah, it's got to be in the 20s. I
I
would
would,
say.
yeah,
I
I
would say
would say. I
probably
mean,
more, probably a lot more than that. So
seems like it, but yeah, it's been fun. That's my favorite thing to do.
yeah, yeah. Well, and for those of you who don't know, we just released a very Roger Tiny Kohrs Christmas album. And
Absolutely.
you recorded that in
2009, I think, was when I went did that.
okay, okay. And so we released it, and it's up on Spotify. It's in the app and all that stuff. And I got to ask you because I haven't, but I'm been assuming the answer. Did you play everything on that?
Yeah,
Like everything?
yeah.
So you're a smoking guitar player too. I'm a very good guitar player.
Well, that comes. You know, it just depends on the project that I'm doing. I can sit down and get what I'm looking for,
Mhm.
but I don't play enough to go out and play a gig. If I worked on a little, I could. I used to play guitar in a duo. I quit playing bass for about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years after Jocko died. I just set it down, and I had a duo I was playing with, and I played keys and guitar. Um, but then when I started playing bass again, I put those down, except when I record.
Yeah,
It's like, man, you know, it's like, you know, I can take a banjo or a mandolin and figure out a part, you know, but I'm not going to go out and play a bluegrass.
right. Well, you know, I was talking to God, his name escapes me, with the Squirrel Nut Zippers, their saxophone player. And he, during their show in Cincinnati last year, he picked up the clarinet,
Yeah.
and he just rips this song apart. And then when we were outside after the show, I said, man, you just ripped that clarinet apart. And he goes, it's the only song I know.
Yeah. I can relate to that. I mean, you know.
Yeah, he said, it's the only song I know. He said, nobody needs to know that's the only song I know.
Yeah.
Practice.
Well, you know, the dude could probably play other songs. That's just the one in the show that he's got down to do, you know, it's part of the show. So
yeah. Now you play all over the place with Heather right now. She's doing really, really well. I'd like to get her on.
Yeah.
You know, she's got a wonderful voice, and looks like she's really coming along from that, you know, from the first couple times I saw her. She's really starting to embrace the whole artist thing, it looks like.
Yeah, she's very talented vocalist and great to work for. She's not afraid to jump in there and, you know, carry gear and rap chords and all that. You know, she's a hard worker, and I really appreciate her, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we're doing an acoustic, either a trio or a duo. She does a duo or a quartet. So we got away from the band. We had, you know, when I started playing with her, it was a full band. But then after COVID hit and things dropped out for a while, and things started coming back, started getting just, you know, acoustic gigs. And she decided that was the format she wanted to follow.
Yeah.
You know,
which a heck of a lot easier.
Well, it fits, you know, she wanted to sing the stuff that she wanted to sing.
Right.
And so in the band situation, she was doing some stuff that was some rock and roll stuff, and it was just, you know, she just didn't want to sing that anymore. It was killing her voice and the volume and everything else. So she's more into, you know, country and bluegrass and stuff like that. So the acoustic thing's working out nicely.
Yeah, I think I love playing with a full band, but man, it's a chore. I mean, it's, you know,
it's a lot of work, and it just depends on who's involved in it. You know, you can make it hard or you can make it easy.
Yeah.
And we do the full band with the Bootleggers. To me, it's fairly easy. I mean, everybody pulls their gear in, sets it up, and the PA that you use is easy. You know, and it's not I'm too old to carry a lot of gear.
Right. Well, I know when, and by hard, I don't mean hard because of the guys. I don't mean hard because it couldn't be any easier. Like you said, everybody loads in, and if we got to help, it is a lot more that, you know, everything, you got to have a little bit more of everything and make sure everything's right. And that drives me out of my mind.
It's tough getting a sound with a band. But we all seem to listen and play well together, and it's not extreme volume. That's the main thing too that I appreciate, because volume.
Except for when the speaker's behind you.
Well, yeah. Now that does help that helped me tremendously to get that thing out of my ear.
We were doing a sound check, and I was wandering the room trying to get my range for my wireless stuff and make sure everything was sounding okay. And I just saw you go from grumpy to grumpy-er to grumpy-ist. I'm like, what's wrong? Get that out of my ear. I'm like, it's already SA, dude.
Yeah, man, that
helped.
I didn't
even think about it. That speaker was right in your head.
Yeah.
It was right in your head.
But I got chipper after that, right?
You always get chipper as soon as you start playing.
Yeah.
So somebody's been around, somebody's been doing it a long time, when I think you have the same feeling that I do. I don't ever get paid to play music. I get paid to carry my crap in and carry my crap out.
Well, yeah, it's the hours getting there and waiting around and all that stuff that you get paid for.
Yeah.
The music side is just the plus. That's the most fun part of it. You know, when I was on the road, was on the road for, I mean, I've been on the road for many, many years, but the last thing that I was involved with was probably 25 years, and a lot of heavy travel and just, hours and hours of hurry up and wait. But the hour and a half show was like the payoff. I mean, that was the what made it all worthwhile,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Without
the
a
rest
doubt.
of the time it's torture,
Yeah. Yeah. Without a doubt. I remember when I was doing stand up, everybody just thought it was when you talk to people, they think it's the greatest. Oh, you get to do all this, and no, I sit in my car, I eat crappy food, I sleep in hotels. And no, it's not, the hour and a half, the show part, that's fun. Being on a radio station or go do TV, that's fun. All the other stuff, no, that's what you pay for.
Yeah. People say, well, you get to travel and see all these places. No, I don't really see anywhere. I see the inside of a van and then play a gig in a club. And I saw the arches when I went through St. Louis, but I didn't,
I didn't see it. Yeah. They think you do. And they'll say, did your family travel with you? No, I'm not going to Disney World, man.
Yeah.
I'm humping 20 hours to get one place and then 15 hours to get to the next. As a matter of fact, it's funny. I kept track of all the cities I've been in over the years, and my son was taking a trip out to. Alex was moving his buddy out to California, and I was able to put things on the maps on his route where he could get off. And I said, "Tell me what you see," because I didn't see anything. Go experience these.
There were times where. Like when we were in Texas, I wanted to see the Alamo, and I got up, way early before the rest of the band members did, and took the van and went to the Alamo. I mean, stuff out, you could get out and do stuff, but not that much, because most of the time you're driving or traveling or.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now,
but I love to travel and see things, so that there's pluses to it too. It's just not what people think it is.
No, it's not. That's why you and I have had a lot of conversations about 2023 for the Bootleggers. The whole idea to me is play a couple times a month, and even doing 3 shows a month or 2 shows a month. Let's go to 3 shows a month. In theory, is 9 days if you're traveling.
Yeah.
So that's a 9-day investment.
Yeah.
Especially if we go beyond our, tri-state area, then we're going to have a problem.
Because that's going to cost hundreds.
That's hundreds. I'll meet another bass player on Craigslist. Speaking of, man, go ahead.
The thing is to work now, and I saw this on a guy that builds basses the other day talking about playing gigs, is to play smart, take smart gigs. The days of just taking anything that throws your way. Not the way to do it in this day and age, because we're still, we're living in 1970 prices for musicians.
Yeah.
Unless you're in some major touring act. I mean, the pay has not changed at all. If anything, it's gone down. So,
well, just the price of gas. I mean, I was talking to Clayton Q. That's why he's got to be selective, because
exactly,
to fill that.
My wife is an accountant, so she's preached this to me a lot, and I stopped and thought about all the hours, the gas and everything. When I get home, I really haven't made $20 if I just take any kind of gig. If I can take a well-paying gig one time a month and clear the majority of it, as opposed to take a bunch of little piddling things that they're not getting anywhere except putting wear and tear on my vehicle and me.
Right.
Well, so you got to work.
Obviously, you've been working a lot of those.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty rough. Get rougher by the day, but you just have to be a little bit smarter these days, I think, and if you really want to make any money at it. And that's the way I've made my living my whole life, basically. So
yeah. Well, one thing's for sure, man. You work. And I do want to talk about your 20 years, because one of the coolest parts of us meeting was to find out that you were Unknown Hinson's bass player.
Yeah.
And my manager at the time, which I told you, was just a freak about Unknown Hinson. And if anybody's anybody listening has never heard of Unknown Hinson, go check the dude out. He was wacko.
Yeah, very, very one of the most talented people I think that I've ever worked with overall. Unfortunately, we didn't end well, but very, very one of the best guitar players you could ever ask. In our glory days, we had a period where we were pretty damn unstoppable.
You guys were smoking, man. I mean,
yeah, for a three-piece band,
yeah,
I don't think you could have, found much better.
Yeah,
three-piece, one vocal, and just kick ass,
Yeah, and by wacko, real fast, let me make sure I retract. I don't mean wacko as in crazy. I didn't know him, so I don't know that part. I mean his music. Where was his head when he was writing some stuff?
Well, he developed a character like no different than Alice Cooper or any of those acts, it's just, or David Bowie or whatever. He just created a character, and it was a lot of comedy involved in the lyrics and stuff. I mean, he was a child of the the 60s, English movement. His favorite stuff was, the Who and Beatles and the Stones, and that's just like all of us are from that era. And he also was a big fan of country music. So he was very, very, he somehow took it and put it in a pot, mixed it all up, and came up with a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. How many dates were you doing? How many, when you guys were really cooking, how many dates were you guys doing?
When we started out, we played maybe twice a year for the first couple years to 10 people. I mean, because nobody knew what it was,
right,
or how to book it. But we used to come up and play Louisville for they had I think it's WFBK has a lunch thing, a box lunch thing where a band comes in and plays in the studio. And we somehow, we developed a following from Nashville, people that, when it started out, a lot of these musicians got a hold of the first recording and were passing around tour buses and going crazy about it.
Yeah.
And we'd come up and do that WFBK, and it just grew. I don't know how to say, it was a grassroots movement and consistently going out and pounding the pavement. And then he got signed to Capitol Records on the air at WFBK. They called while we were playing on the air and signed him. And we went out to California and did a residency out there. And through that residency, we got on a tour with Hank 3 and went out and did that and got in front of sold out crowds because of Hank 3. We were just the opener, but we got the benefit of being placed in front of sold out venues. And then from there, we did a tour with Reverend Horton Heat, same thing. Then we got asked to do a couple more tours with Reverend Horton Heat. And just by doing those things and get in front of people, that's how he got to be a headliner.
Yeah.
And then after that, we were booked solid for, I don't know, 8 or 9 years, just pounding it. And he was very smart. Even though he had the following he did, we never got a tour bus. We kept a van,
right,
and me and the drummer did the driving and did, so we were able to make good money.
Yeah.
We didn't have a huge overhead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very smart the way he went about it. And we, once we got really established, we might stay in a 5-star hotel one night and Red Roof Inn the next. I mean, but, he always took care of us as far as accommodations and stuff. So it was good for a while, really good.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I think, that's the key. You got to you start small, finish big, right? try to network as best as you can. I know you and I have had many conversations. I mean, that's for the past 2 years, it's really, and well, really the past year, that's what we've been trying to do with us is, you know, because I personally have no aspiration to go sit on the road and do all that. I want to produce the music that we're doing, try to introduce people to what we're doing, because it is a little off the chart with the multi-genre, and if and get people to maybe be a little nicer and get a little closer to God. It's a very simple concept, I think, but it's very complex. And how do you get the ball rolling?
Yeah, it's always as always, it's about getting it in front of people, getting in people's ears, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what the road work that we did. That it was just getting in front of people, you know.
Yeah.
And once they heard it, they were fans, and they would be back the next time, you know. And it's like anything, you just have to get it in front of people.
Yeah, I think that's, I was talking to that Jackson Harden. I don't know if you listened to that interview or not, but, you know, a young kid, it's so hard. And even our own Noah, you know, he's young, and they need to understand you have to, you know, what has taken place for us over the past 11, 12 months is no accident. We got to get in front of people. You got to share the stuff. You got to, Fernando was saying it the other day, if you write a song and you never release it, then you didn't do anything.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, if it sits on a shelf and no one gets to hear it, you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
If it's good or not, or if it touches somebody or not. I mean, and that's I think that's with musicians. I can only speak for myself. That's kind of a weird thing, because sometimes you're like, I don't want somebody to really, I like it. I know I like it. I did it, and it means something to me. But if I play it for other people, that, you know, what if they don't like it or whatever? And then they, you know, you have to let it go.
And then they curl up in a ball in a shower naked.
You have to let it go, you know. And it's like recordings. The recording's the same way. When you record a track, at some point, you have to let it go. You can always look at it, say, I can do it better.
Yeah.
But maybe you can't.
Yeah. We've had, you and I have, you know, is it done? Is it done? I rely on your ears very much. And you know that. I mean, you've got a great set of ears, and you catch things that I can't catch. And of course, I have my core people that I will let listen. There's 3-4 people, but you will tell me if I'm hanging on too long. You tell me, dude, let it go.
Yeah, well, you have to at some point. And you know, I'd rather hear a track, and I think it's missing in a lot of today's. I hear pop music because of I have a 10-year-old, and my wife loves pop music, so I do listen to it. But you know, I prefer music if it feels good. If there's a mistake in it, but if the feel is good, that's more important to me than if you can hear the bass drum pedal squeak, or if somebody hits a clunk. I mean, some of the best things ever recorded, there's mistakes in them, but you know, they feel great. And I think that's partly missing in modern recorded music today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and with all the electronic crap, you know, I think you lose something. I think it loses its soul. I just really do. Ulrich and I were talking, I believe it was Ulrich and I.
Paul, you know, let me record this for you.
Ulrich, Paul, I'm going to tat it up. But the neat part, you know, we don't have, unless I get on this Mo 8 over here and put something on it. I even have, you know, I have my shakers. I still use shakers. I don't use the thing, and you can hear the mistake of the shaker if you really listen close, or the tambourine. You know, people that so to go with what you said, you know me, I want everything live. I want a live instrument on everything. And I just think it brings a different energy. And speaking of that, I want to go ahead and I'm going to cut and play JESUS. And this one starts with a signature Roger Kohrs bass run.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
And the neat thing is, speaking of that, I took this one bass run, and he only did it once. And that's what I love about you, man. You always give me something. I know now it's got to be intentional. You always find that one little quirky thing, and you know I'm going to slice the hell out of that and put it someplace else.
Yeah, and that's like everywhere. And I'm like, why did he do that?
My buddy,
now I'm embarrassed.
My buddy Tony Hacker was in here when I was doing that, and his eyes just popped up. He's like, "What are you doing?" And then I got it going from left to right to left. So this is JESUS. It's doing really, really well for us. Roger Tiny Kohrs on the bass, and Ituna Joe on the drums, and all kinds of goofy stuff happening here. So here you go. Ituna Joe on the drums, Roger Kohrs on the bass, JESUS. We'll be back in 3 minutes and 52 seconds.
Brothers and sisters, let me tell you about a man. Yeah, brothers and sisters, let me tell you about a not so ordinary man. He was born in a manger in Bethlehem, sent to be the savior of all mankind. Yeah, sent to be the savior of all mankind. Shed his blood on a cross, crucified. In 3 days he'd rise. We're talking about JESUS. Yeah, JESUS. Put some Jesus in your life, he'll take care of the rest. Talking about JESUS. Yeah, I'm talking about JESUS. Put some Jesus in your life, he'll take care of the rest. Blow that harp, Leon. Oh yeah, JESUS. Brothers and sisters, JESUS. Put some Jesus in your life, he'll take care of the rest. When I find myself a little down and out, yeah, when I find myself filled with hate, anger, and doubt, I just ask him for some help. He's never let me down. I am talking about JESUS. Brothers and sisters, yeah, JESUS. Put some Jesus in your life, he'll take care of the rest. Spell it with me now, here we go. JESUS. One more time. Yeah, JESUS. Put some Jesus in your life, he'll take care of the rest. Oh, won't y'all put some Jesus in your life? He'll take care of the rest. Oh yeah. Thank you. Jesus is in this house.
And that was
Are you going to end up playing a track?
JSUS. And
Okay.
go ahead. What were you saying, Raj?
No, I was just going to say you're going to play maybe play a track off the Fresh Lettuce record at the end or something.
Yeah, I am definitely going to play a track off Fresh Lettuce, and I actually have queued up Still Here. So when was that track done?
What was it?
Still Here?
I don't recognize that.
You sent it to me, you goofball. This is Paul Jones. I'm talking to Roger Tiny Kohrs. And I don't know why I'm talking to Roger Tiny Kohrs.
I know, because I don't remember anything. I don't remember that song.
Oh my goodness gracious!
When did I send that?
Oh my God! You sent it to me. You sent it to me a long time ago. You sent it to me. Let's see here. I gotta punch it up. Give me a second. But oh, wow. 9/27 of last year of 2021 you sent this to me, so I don't know.
Still here?
Still here is what it says. I got Daddy's Smile.
Oh, those are probably Ollie's. I did some songs with Ollie Rome. Those are Ollie songs that we recorded during the pandemic, probably.
I got you. Okay, great. Not a problem.
Another great songwriter. Really good songwriter.
Yeah, I remember talking to Ollie. What I really would like to spend, and I will on the tail end of this as we go out, play a track off of Fresh Lettuce. I'm going to have to find it. But I want to play the Linus and Lucy off the Roger Tiny Kohrs, huh?
Yeah, off the Christmas tree.
Is that
what's interesting about that is it's all bass.
Yeah. That's what's your favorite track off of
that? I don't know. I like that. I mean, I kind of like that Santa Claus is Coming to Town, because it starts off with like a Delta blues type of slide guitar, and it goes into a Stax soul version,
Yeah, I'll punch that one up. The Linus and Lucy one, I love. I love them all. The album is really well put together, and that
was all recorded at home too.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now, man, some of the stuff that you do in here, you know me, I like to listen in my headphones, and you do some really crazy stuff. And that intro on this one that you're talking about, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, is awesome. The track's 4 minutes 35 seconds.
It's too long.
Yeah, it's a long track, but the intro is just, it almost feels like you're in some sort of spaghetti western or something like that to me.
I probably was. I just don't remember it.
So we're talking to Roger Tiny Kohrs. If you go to Meet the Bootleggers, you'll see who I'm talking about, and I'll put, we have the links to all of Roger's stuff and what he's got going on. His Fresh Lettuce album is spinning in the on the radio station, so you'll find that. You're just talented dude, man. So let me ask you this, man. What do you see bootlegger wise next year? What do you think we should do?
Play some shows, there's so many different directions we've talked about going. From the suicide prevention presentation at some churches or schools or whatever.
Well, we have three things, and that's what Roger's talking about. We actually have three things we are able to do. We can go and play in a club, at an event, at a fair, a festival. That's great. And that's fun. Then what he was talking about, suicide prevention, we've got the program Music, Mental Health, and Motivation coming out in 2023. I hope to be doing that. And what that looks like is mental health, as many people know, I've done suicide prevention, mental health speaking for years and years, and was asked to get back involved. So the program Music, Mental Health, and Motivation encompasses all three of those things, and have three guys on stage, whether it's just me and Roger, or me and Roger and some congas, or me and Roger, a whole band. And then the really cool component is to go into churches and really testify about our music and how it came about. I'm really excited about that. Brother Wayne Maxwell is spearheading getting us into those places. So yeah, playing out. I guess that's it, right? That's what we got.
Yeah, and it seems like when we play anywhere that people they get the message in a way that it's almost subliminal in a way, because of the way that you approach it. And the song, we play enough songs that are recognizable, but then we throw in the originals that have a spiritual message to them. And I think that it's a good way to present it to people. It seems to work.
I personally believe that, yeah, it does work. You and I've talked about it many, many times. It's amazing the amount of people that have come up to us. I don't know if people have come up to you. They've come up to me and went, I really can't believe you just played Christian music in a bar. And people dug it.
Yeah.
And you got away with it. And then,
well, the term Christian music really, I don't know that really is the right term for it either, because it's just music that songs that, I don't know, talk about some form of just spirituality,
Right. Well, and that's what I tell
it
everybody.
Doesn't matter it doesn't matter what religion or what your belief is. It's the message can apply to everybody. Right.
Yeah. You have that pretty well said. That's because we've struggled hard to explain what it is, because we have gotten there are people. I think I shared this with you when we played up in Marysville, trying to get the country music station to climb on board with us, and they went to the website and said no, they're Christian, and that was a country music radio station.
Yeah.
Like, okie dokie.
Well,
but, yeah, I think we've got that pretty well figured out now. That
you have to think about the times that we live in right now, and everybody, it seems, is scared to do anything. Yeah. Or don't want to associate themselves with anything. They're afraid to take a stand with anything, and that's a problem.
Yeah. Well, look, man, people are afraid to do anything, like you just said. They're afraid to stand up for themselves. They're afraid they'll lose their job, they'll lose their this, they'll lose their, and it is a shame. And they don't want people don't want to be associated with certain things, and but maybe that'll spin back around here. But what do you got for next year? Like what kind of tracks you want to produce?
I don't produce any of them. You do.
I
want to play on some.
That's not true. You're producing them just as much as I am by putting your ears on it. I've been thinking jazz and blues.
Yeah, that's always fun medium.
Yeah, going heavy jazz and blues next year. So, you feel good about that?
Yeah, it depends on the kind of jazz. I mean, but yeah, blues and R&B is you can't beat.
Can you play jazz with a capo?
No, you can't.
So I'm gonna have to learn some of those L minors and
Yeah.
DG.
You
whatever
might
the
be
hell
able to
those
get away with it on the guitar,
on that guitar.
but not on that sousaphone you play.
The sousaphone, yeah. Well, that's very true. I've been talking to Roger Tiny Kohrs here. It's 9:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on 12/14/2022. Roger, I do want to ask you, how is your lovely Loretta doing?
She's doing much better. We're very blessed that we had so many prayers for her, and her health is, after COVID, we had COVID bad a year ago at Thanksgiving, and it affected her heart. But with good help from the staff of the heart failure clinic, we've got her taken care of, and she's doing good.
Yeah, she's a lovely woman, and our prayers, keep saying the prayers for Loretta, and obviously Rock. How is he doing? Getting ready for, all excited about Christmas?
Yeah, he like any 10-year-old, he's ready to get out of school.
He is. He's got a birthday coming up Sunday.
Yep.
He shared.
Be 11 years old.
Be 11 years old. Roger has an 11-year-old son.
Yeah. Don't laugh.
I am laughing.
It is possible.
It is possible. Sometimes they swim.
Yeah.
Sometimes they swim. That's cool, man. Roger, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I want to be really respectful of your time. I know you got some things happening this morning. And any final words?
Yeah, let's just keep doing what we're doing, and you gotta follow a path.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna
you got to keep at it.
Yeah, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. That's for sure, my brother. And I'm very blessed to have you. And we'll get you back on here. And we need to get a day where we can get everybody on one. And,
yeah.
That'd be a lot of fun. If I could rustle up, 15, 20 of the players and just put together the tracks that they played on. You know what I mean? And,
we could be like the Brady Bunch or something.
The dysfunctional Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
We might need we'll do a side band, kind of like Nelson and Willie Nelson, those guys do. The dysfunctional Bradys.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to take us out of here with Linus and Lucy. I'm going to ask you to shoot me over that fresh lettuce again. Put that up in the folder. I cannot find where I put it. And I'll play some of those during the second hour as well.
Can you go on YouTube and just play it off of that?
I cannot.
Okay.
I might be able to. Yeah, with the Zoom ended, I might be able to. So, been talking to Roger Tiny Kohrs. It's Paul Jones. It's 9:53 a.m. I'm with you till about 11 a.m. And I'm going to spin Linus and Lucy off the track. I think that's the one I got. No, I want to do the Santa Claus is Coming to Town first. So, Roger Tiny Kohrs, thanks for joining me. I do appreciate it. God bless you, man. I love you.
Same to you, brother.
All right, man. Be good.
All right.
Here we go.
What you've been listening to is my interview this morning on 12/14/2022 with Roger Tiny Kohrs. That's right, our very own little big tiny Kohrs, Roger Tiny Kohrs. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, you can log in and tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 11 Eastern Standard Time. You can just go to our app, download it, and listen. That's right, listen to the people I talk to. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. And remember, join me live. Just come on. You're allowed. Nobody's stopping you.